Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Napoleon Total back again with some Shogun 2 Total War Fall of the Samurai Scramble the Far East mod. And last turn we were about to assault Mishima, and this is literally the fortress of Mishima. As you can see off the bat, you have extremely high walls, extremely high walls. Once again, it's a very tough fortress to crack. This battle was fought in 1858, and it is actually one of the most, not pivotal, but interesting battles of my war of the United States. And off the bat, you can see just how tall the fortress is. For my army, I have these mortars opening up on my enemy as of right now. And just while the entire video is being played, I'll just talk about what has been going on. So last episode, my bad, you guys saw what happened essentially with taking down the fortress of Odawara. Now we are moving on Mishima. Last time we were also trying to search out for the main American army, but we kind of did not find that. So now we are just trying to siege out Mishima to see if the enemy army would appear. And as you can see here, we're just trying to blow everything, blow the towers off of Mishima. And to that we are very successful. As you can see, I eventually push up my line infantry to start opening fire on the enemy. And at this point, I'm just gonna stop and let you guys watch. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, the only formation that these guys are in is kneel fire. And that makes almost all the ranks, except for the 4th rank, open fire. Now obviously, if you're not in range, for those units who are not in range, you're still not gonna shoot. So that's a problem. However, once again, very nice graphics. And the same thing goes for this Württemberg infantry, as you can see. In the background, you saw just some artillery just hamming down the enemy towers, the United States towers. And yeah, this is kind of redundant at this point. Most battles are kind of redundant. So I'm just gonna allow you guys to watch the battle. Especially the animations, they're wonderful. But until my troops do something awesome, I'm just gonna stop talking. Now we see some of my infantry that we have here in the back lines. We have some grenadiers. Lifeguards. We have some Hessian infantry. We have more Württemberg infantry. The lifeguards of foot. Lifeguards. My bad. I almost called them grenadiers of the guard. With those massive shakos, I really thought for a second they were grenadiers. As you can see here, more of my line is just putting pressure on the enemy. This is actually the Brunswick infantry with their famous black uniforms and blue colors. For those who don't know, the Brunswick infantry was one of the few units that served alongside the British Army in the Napoleonic Wars, a war that I actually know more about than the Victorian era. And yeah. Back on the battle, we are just looking at these American militia just getting wrecked by my units. Obviously, I'm only having a few of my units just open fire on these guys, and this is why you can only see so few of them falling. But as you can hear in the distance, we are having heavy artillery just pounding these guys, especially with my mortars. And yeah, these guys are not returning fire. As a matter of fact, a mortar shelled a direct hit right here, as you guys will see. I think this one is, gonna destroy the wall. So, yeah, we're just gonna watch. And boom, everyone just falls up into the air. Well, actually no, gets thrown into the air and dies on impact as they land. As you can see, more American troops are just being pulled in because, rightfully so, they are afraid of me opening fire on. Well, no, the Americans, I believe, are at this point afraid that I will just push up my entire army if they do not have any army in the field. Well, actually, units in the field, to be exact. And as you can see, my units have not opened fire on them, and I actually won't be opening fire on them because I'm just trying to, at this point, search out for possible hits from my artillery. And this is actually when I start opening fire. As you can see, some men are falling left and right. And I think this was a very good position for my artillery and my guns to open fire. As you can see in the distance, you have my entire Brunswick line just opening fire on this poor unit. And once again, for some reason, these guys are using guns from 300 years ago. These are Portuguese matchlocks, so these guys are not going to be coming near the range of my units. And you can see here mortar strikes, and it's taking a huge toll on the enemy. So that's great. And I'm just gonna stop talking for you guys to watch the scenery. Once again, as you saw there, another wall just got blown open and men were flying like once again. And finally you can see me trying to move troops to my right. And the reason is because I'm preparing to escalate the walls, because at this point I believe I have done enough damage to the enemy. Obviously I didn't know there was more enemies, which eventually I would just keep opening fire, which is what I'm doing, especially here with my Württemberg infantry. And my Brunswick infantry are going to join them in opening fire on the enemy. However, the Brunswick infantry do have their line of sight blocked. However, the colonial infantry, the Württemberg infantry, will have absolutely no problem opening fire on the enemy. Finally, in the back lines, you can see me moving up a lot of Lifeguards, Hessian infantry, and more Württemberg infantry. And the entire goal was to just push a lot more fire on the enemy, as you can see here. A lot more ranks of men just opening fire on the enemy. And yeah, at this point I'm gonna stop talking and allow you guys to watch the scenery, I guess. We are back, and we are just opening fire on this poor militia unit. As you can see, all my lines are just opening fire on this one militia unit. And for those that are wondering, yes, I do watch my replays. Sometimes I hear that my voice is being cut out, especially during gunfire scenes. And I don't blame it. The gunfire scenes, surprisingly in this game, is extremely loud. And then you have your normal voices, which are not extremely loud, so that's a bummer. So I decided to essentially shut up when there are gunshot scenes or mass volley fire scenes. So yeah. What I am doing here is that I'm not having anyone fire, so this is why you can see these guys just sitting around, not being shot at. However, the only thing that's firing are my mortars, and behind them, my infantry are just trying to reform, regroup, prepare to essentially escalate the walls. And you see here, these guys are just moving up slowly. Yeah. As you can see, the second mortar round is volley is being fired, and it's gonna have decimating effects. As you can see, I'm still in the process of reforming my entire infantry block. I call these blocks. They're more like lines, but I call these blocks. So once again, very nice detail to the buildings too. Like, wow, very nice, like just detail and everything. You really see most of this stuff in the later Total War games, like Three Kingdoms and whatnot. I personally don't play I personally don't play Warhammer, so I can't tell you guys anything about that. But anyway, our guys are back to firing again, so I'll stop talking. Finally, in the back lines, you can see some of my troops just moving up. Once again, these are Württemberg infantry, colonial infantry, and once again Brunswick infantry. And we are just going to go on to the side, where we will just be blasting the enemy once again on our entire flank. Once again, very nice detail to the standards and colors. Very nice job. Thank you for the modding team. Yep, and almost everything in this game has been essentially revamped, especially with the European powers. And yep, as you guys can see, we're just preparing to open fire on our enemies. Before we do, but in the middle, in the center actually, our units are moving up. We are being hit by the enemy infantry that has not been completely cleared out, but there's just a few left on the walls. But I'm still going to order the general advance. As you can see, we are just using the walls as a barrier. Eventually, I'm going to have a lot of my guys just open fire on the poor guys who are above us. But for now, these guys are going to get hit somewhat hard. Finally, in the background, you can see more troops just moving in. The enemy unit on the top has just been blown away by my guns. And as you can see, they are actually running out of the fortress trying to just escape because they know if they stay, they're going to all die. Finally, our guys are just preparing to escalate the walls. As you can see, massive plumes of water just piling up because of the enemy fire, not on this wall, but on the wall to the right. And we're just going through the front gate, which has been blown away by me. There's some units that are still left on the walls, which is why you saw some of those gunfire, especially with those water plumes. Just water just, what do you call that anyway? Water being shot at? Yeah, that's the best explanation. But you can see me just moving my Württemberg and Brunswick infantry through. Once again, Bavarian Bavarian infantry is one of my favorite infantry. But Brunswick infantry is also one of my more favorite infantry. I do really like the uniforms of the Württemberg General Staff, but they're not in the game, so sucks to be me. As you can see, as you could see, that was how much of the actual fortress that we actually did take, and it's only the foothold. As you can see, my guys are just trying to duke it out with his militia, which are not as well compared to mine. Remember, my guys are professional soldiers, while these guys just have been just given a gun at the last minute to fight my guys. So that's gonna be a problem. But the enemy is sending more. So eventually I have these guys retreat, and behind them I have this massive blob of colonial infantry. Not as good as Brunswick infantry, but hey, they can do their job. If you want to be very technical on the stats, colonial infantry, Brunswick infantry, and all the other infantry, except for the lifeguards, and any guard unit in particular, have the exact same stats. But the difference is, colonial infantry just have less men, 160. If the unit is full, obviously. And Brunswick infantry, Prussian line infantry, Hessian infantry all have 200. Lifeguard units are just crazy in stats. Like, if lifeguards, Hessian guards, Hanoverian guards are just crazy in stats. Lifeguards in particular, these guys are just like murderers. These guys just kill, and kill. That's their job, essentially. That is essentially their job. As you can see, our lifeguards, speaking of the devil, the lifeguards are just killing our enemies off the bat. Not a lot of them have been killed, but a lot of the enemy has been slain. On the right, we are just trying to face down the more spear levy, and these are actually called the town watch, I think. Town spear levy, I believe. But these guys are going to be flanked by my Württemberg infantry, which has been going around the entire flank just to flank these guys, and instantly they break, and we are just cleaning them up. Once again, you guys probably can't hear me, but if you guys do, yeah. Going on, we are just pushing up, and then the second we push up, we kind of realized very soon that we'll be running into some trouble. And speak of trouble, I eventually decide to pull these guys back, which happens almost right now, I think. Yeah, I think my guys turn around right now at this moment because in the distance, which you can see right now, are enemy units just coming straight towards us. Now, to be honest, is that scary? No. But I do have ways of dealing with them. And one of the such ways is fighting them with my Württemberg infantry in the front. While on the flank, I do have units just trying to flank around, which obviously you guys can't see because I'm so zoomed in. And with the help of the flank, these guys are almost instantly broken. Actually, no, they are instantly broken. And now we are just preparing to assault the final keep. Or, no, actually no, it's not the final keep, it's the second tier. Yeah, we just only captured the first tier of the fortress. And now we're actually breaking the walls of the second tier. As you can see, we're just throwing fire. And now finally we just storm in. Brunswick infantry, colonial infantry. And for those who don't really understand where I'm seeing these things from, the first dead giveaway is the uniforms. Now you might be thinking, wait, you're colorblind. Yes, I am colorblind. However, I can't tell the difference between black and white. So, well, I can tell the difference between blue and... I cannot tell the difference, sorry, between blue and purple. I cannot tell the difference between yellow and green. But I can tell the difference between black and blue. Another dead giveaway is standards and colors. As you can see, these guys are flying the flag of Brunswick with the regimental colors, which also spell Brunswick to me. And we are getting very close to the end of the battle. There's still some units holding up, but after this tower is gonna be blown open, they all die. As you can see, on the end of the battle, we are just looking at the who killed who, and once again, it's lifeguards. We're gonna peacefully occupy this settlement. Why not? Obviously, we're gonna peacefully occupy this settlement. The entire reason why I declared war on the United States was because I needed land. And I'm just trying to upgrade. Although these settlements do cost a lot of money to repair. I'm really wondering, how did the AI just build so much settlements, especially seeing how expensive they are. As you can see, I'm also trying to move my units in. I'm also trying to do stuff with my units, seeing which guys can move, which guys cannot. Yeah. So I am trying to move them out of the city, but not yet, because I'm still seeing what I can do with the enemy fleet. Although I decided not to do anything, I however decided to move out my units right now because I realized there's nothing up the enemy can do. So yep, I decided to move my units out. And I'm gonna have my agent supervise recruiting. The harbor is being blown away by the enemy ships, but hey, what can we do? We actually spot the massive enemy army last turn, but I still ordered the assault on Mishima, which is Izu province, I believe. Yeah, so there's a massive army led by Mr. Matthew, I believe. Yeah. I almost called him Matthew, Commodore Matthew Perry, because he actually looks like Commodore Matthew Perry. We just keep scouting. We see that Kai, which is the province that the United States has, does not have a lot. Back on the next turn, our agent levels up, stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna check out my agent right now. The agent, to be exact, his name is her name is Friedrich with a K. Frederick with a K. That's weird. I have two Fredericks, remember? I have Frederick with a K, Frederick with a H. Frederick with a K is Geisha. Frederick with a H is Agent. And both of them still should be alive. Yeah, I think they're alive. I'm just trying to play around with what I can build, what I cannot build. I decided not to build anything as of major right now. I decided to go for assassination attempt, but, I don't know if he or she gets assassinated. Actually, no, it's a he. Yeah, the enemy is wounded, so that's great. That's wonderful. And yeah, that's gonna save my general from being assassinated, so which is even more wonderful. The enemy army, is in Suruga, as you can see in the background. I'm also trying to bombard, what's this place called? Shimoda. So, but that's gonna be a problem because Shimoda at this point has no garrison, but I am more afraid than not that the enemy army, which, I actually prefer to fight the enemy army in a field battle. Because, well, fighting field battles is essentially my thing. I love to fight field battles. And obviously, I'm just gonna group up my entire army and prepare for battle against the United States, which they are gonna attack me on the next turn. However, I'm trying my best to get my army within range. You see, a common tactic I do is which I did not do this turn, my bad, is that I will split up my army and send my army into chunks. Cavalry moving with cavalry, infantry moving with infantry, and artillery moving with artillery. The downside of that is the downside is that if they do get caught in the battle, then we are screwed. However, yeah, it just makes them march faster. As you can see, the enemy agent is trying to harass me, and finally, after that harassment, which I do not know what it did, I have to see next turn, the enemy army attacks me. And now we are on the battlefield with my mortars. You are looking straight at them, guys. I brought 3 teams of these guys, so expect a lot of pounding from the by the enemy. Oh, sorry, expect a lot of pounding on the enemy. My bad. My general, Friedrich Albert, once again, wearing his standard Pickelhaube, and this one is elite one because it is white instead of the classic black. And yeah, it reminds me of the dude Bismarck. As you can see, these guys are certainly hidden because we are fighting in a fog battle, as you can see. And these guys are my lifeguards, Hessian infantry on the right. Going more right, we have more Hessian infantry. We have some Württemberg infantry. Nice black, I guess. Okay. That is either black or dark blue. Colonial infantry and Brunswick infantry. Colonial infantry and just more colonial infantry on the entire right flank, which, as we can all agree, is my weakest flank because I do not have any of the lifeguards on the flank. However, for the United States, we have a lot of infantry of various sorts. The one that you just saw was essentially state foot infantry. This is a foot infantry with a nice dark blue. And the United States at this point has not transitioned to the Civil War uniforms that we all know and love. We are seeing colonial foot infantry, so United States colonial foot infantry, and you can see some stars and stripes with the American colors. And here we can see the American general, which is on the right. Now he's just walking past us. Now he's right in the front of the camera. So that is the United States general. And going even more right, we are looking at the United States Army. We have some state foot infantry, followed by some colonial infantry, followed by a lot of cavalry, and oh god, there's a siren going on right to my right. An actual siren, sorry. Now we have even more infantry, state foot infantry. Yeah, this entire forest that the enemy is in is filled with state foot infantry and filled with Americans holding guns, which is, for those who don't know, is probably the most terrifying sight. At this point, oh actually, no, not at this point. Currently, in the United States, how do I put it in a nice way? Oh yeah, there are more guns than people in the United States. What can I say? Oh yeah, America. Sorry, that was a terrible impersonation. America. Yeah, I think I still did a pretty terrible job of saying America, but okay. It's more like America or something like that, but I'm doing a terrible impersonation. I know some of my friends can do way better, but as you can see, these guys are trying to hide from my guys, but they're doing quite a terrible job. They are slowly moving up. These are not even full-size regiments, I guess. This unit of I don't know what it is, but I think it's Montgomery Guards. Is not even full size. Finally, they're pushing up, running up, but yeah, that's just gonna tire them while my guys are just sitting back. And just to give you guys the weather, well, yeah, the weather of this battlefield, it is full of fog. Yeah, during this entire battle, as a commander with the HUD on, I still could not figure out which units were which. Like most, partly because I am colorblind, and another part is because literally every unit that shows up is white, and that's mainly because of fog. And now you can see the general advance of the United States Army. Once again, very well done with the uniforms and with the stuff. Yeah, yeah, especially with the colors. The colors and standard regimental colors and standards. Well, nice job. And well, you just saw mortars coming in. As you can see, my guys have put in stakes in the front, and we are just waiting for the enemy to come to us. The enemy is gonna exhaust themselves, but the enemy, the AI, I think, actually no. Well, yeah, it is the AI. The enemy is doing a good job of maintaining balance. And finally, my guys open fire. So I'm gonna stop talking. As you guys can see, these guys are firing so rapidly that you think that you have to start realizing, are they even loading their guns? And you can see the terrifying effect of the Prussian light infantry just blowing up these American colonial foot infantry. Their standards have not only been shot away, but their flags have been also shot away. And I'm gonna stop talking because you guys probably can't even hear me. Oh yeah, sorry guys, but as you can see, it is so hard to see, especially with this much fog. You can only see flashes. And at this point, I ordered the withdrawal of my troops, and the reason why I'm doing that is going to be very clear soon. As you can actually know, I'm just going to tell you right now. It's because behind us we have a massive tree line, and I'm going to use that massive tree line to act as cover for my troops. Also, the position that they are firing from, we're actually not getting a lot of shots on the enemy because, well, my guys have some of my guys have line of sight problems. But now the second the enemy crosses a small ridge, they're just going to be blown apart by my infantry. As you can see here, this is Prussian line infantry, and they're just opening fire on the Americans. Back on the battlefield, we are just opening fire once again. On my right flank, we have this massive blob of colonial light infantry just opening fire on the enemy. As you can see, there are some enemy forces, but more on that later. And actually, speaking of horses, the horse that you actually see that is being gunned down as we speak is the enemy general. Yes, the enemy general not only charged into the pikes, but also onto my guys. And they're just gonna be all shot dead. On my right flank, you can see the Brunswick infantry just opening up, and we are just trying hitting at as many Americans as we physically can. Oh, that was hard. As you can see, some of my guys are falling, but we are definitely killing more Americans than they are killing us, especially with this tree line helping us. This actually reminds me of the Battle of Shiloh. And back on the front lines of the American lines, you can see some units are running away, but this this state foot infantry is just opening fire into the woods, which I don't know, which from this position it's really hard to tell what they're even firing at. And you can see these guys are rapidly being torn apart by my infantry. Once again, another scene of the battle, and this time it's dealing with state infantry, I believe. No, actually no, this is regular foot infantry. Once again, another thing that you guys will see is that these guys are not in the classic 1864's American Civil War uniforms. These uniforms actually go back a few years. The game starts in 1858. So I think 1858. Actually, no, the game starts in 1857. My bad. So yeah. But on the entire line, you guys can see these guys just, the Americans just getting decimated by my guys. Especially the unit in front of this colonial foot, this state foot militia that has been really just dropping numbers, losing not only its colors but almost every man in its regiment. Back on my line, you can see all my units are just doing extremely fine. Some haven't even taken damage, although that's rare. My light guards have taken almost no damage, I think. But most of these guys are just opening fire on the enemy. On my right flank, my guys are eventually gonna push up, and they're gonna try to crush their flank. As you can see, these guys are all moving up in massive blobs, and they're eventually gonna stop and just open fire on the enemy. Finally, we push up again. As you can see in the back lines, the American general is once again running away. Surprise, surprise. Once again, we are we are pushing up, and we are just pushing up, and up. As you can see, still visibility is still hard to see. Like, literally, I cannot see anything. Oh, I don't know about you guys. I personally cannot see anything within, well, like 100 meters. However, some of my units have already been charging into the enemy. As you can see, the American Stars and Stripes is waving, but we are gonna take their colors. And on their flank, we are just opening fire with everything. As you can see, flashes of my guys opening fire, and these guys are just getting shot away. And finally, most of them rout. As you can see, as a matter of fact, on the entire flank, my guys are just sitting there preparing to open fire, and they actually do open fire. But the aspect of just them preparing to open fire is enough to scare the enemy, and we win the battle. We actually capture a colonial field artillery, and that is amazing. We defeat the enemy army. The enemy sue for peace, but I reject. And that is the end of this, of part 5 of my Prussian campaign. So I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I will be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.